In this video, we're going to be talking about something very sensitive. So let me warn you in advance, there are going to be missiles and stray bullets flying up and down. If it hits you, I beg, just take your peace and go and treat yourself accordingly. No offense meant. So we're always hearing about these mothers-in-law, daughters-in-law, wives, sisters-in-law from hell. I beg, who are they? Where are they? Whenever we sit as a group of women, it's always them. Who are they? I've never sat with anybody who is the bad mother-in-law. I've never sat with anybody who is the bad daughter-in-law, the bad sister-in-law. It's always somebody else. Who are they? Where are they? I've never met one. Every woman I've met is always good. But they exist. We see them. We hear of them. We are victims. Who are they? Because when you sit with them, they will never admit to it. Do you know them? Are you one of them? Is your sister one of them? Is your mom one of them? Please call them out. Let them come. Who are they? Where are they? Let's talk to them today. I'll start today by talking to the daughters-in-law, and in my next video, I will address the mothers-in-law. So don't miss that one. Today, call them, all those bad daughters-in-law. Let's talk. Let's start by identifying who they are. If you are a woman who is wishing your mother-in-law dead, before you argue and say, no, I'm not amongst them, I don't wish my mother-in-law dead. Maybe you were one of those who was saying, me, I'd rather marry a man whose mom is not alive or who doesn't have any sisters. You are one of them. You are one of the bad daughters-in-law. Would you want to be dead when your son is getting married? I pray for you, or you will have sons, you will have daughters. Do you want to be dead when your son is getting married? If not, why are you praying for somebody else not to see her son's wife, or not to see her son get married, or not to see her grandchildren? You are one of them, potentially. Another group of them are those ones that have pre-planned how they are going to treat their in-laws. My in-laws will not mess with me. See, when I get married, I will put them in there. You are one of them. You are one of the bad daughters-in-law. Yes, you are one of the problematic women. You are one of them. Or maybe you are one of those who says, me, I don't take nonsense. I will put everybody in their place. I will speak my truth. I will say my bit. I will protect my space. I will fight for my man. I will You are one of them. You are one of the bad daughters-in-law. Because how do you know the kind of people you are going to meet in a space that you are already fighting? This is my own. I will speak my truth. Speak your truth to who no one hear truth, or to somebody who is not even fighting you. I will protect my space. Against what? Have you found out that there is evil coming, that you are protecting your space? Some of us, that is our problem. We are already fighting battles in our head that don't exist. You are one of them. You are one of them. Now, here's the thing, to be honest, I don't like blaming women and castigating women for no reason. But the truth is, you cannot just go into a place and be fighting with a fighting spirit. It already shows that you are expecting trouble. And even when things happen that shouldn't be a problem, you're already going to cause a problem. So you just might be one of those evil women. All right, okay, I've changed my mind. You are not one of them. Maybe you are potentially one of them. So, what's the best way to handle in-laws and problems like that? I know that there are difficult in-laws. I know that people have gone in and experienced all sorts of things. But sometimes, just sometimes, we are the ones who are not handling things right. Let's take a look at the right way to handle things. Number one, don't go into a marriage with preconceived notions or with a heart prepared for battle. No. Go in with a mind to love and to build great relationships. There is no greater potential for building alliances than the institution of marriage. See, Suddenly, some strangers that never knew each other from Adam come together, and in their coming together, just one man and one woman, you see a group of families come together. Older women who were lonely find companions in other older women. I have seen widows whose children get married, become almost like sisters, develop a true bond. People just develop that friendship, and there is goodwill everywhere. That is the potential that you can get. Don't go in with the mindset that I'm going fire for fire. I'm going there prepared for anything that will come, prepared to fight. Don't have that mindset. Whatever you heard, let it be outside. Go in without expectations and ready to meet the situation as they come. Go in peace. When you approach something with peace, you are more likely to meet peace. If you approach it with a battle mindset, you will find the battle you are looking for. Go in peacefully. Not all mothers-in-law are bad. Not all in-laws are bad. Different, yes, but not always bad. So be ready to understand things. As you are understanding your husband, be willing to make adjustments for his family as well, and to see where they're coming from. Now, here are some tips, because sometimes the signs are already there that this place you are going into may not be the best place for you. If you already notice difficulties and hardships and challenges before you get married, during your courtship period, it may be a red flag. It may be that potentially that marriage is not the best place for you. And one good way to judge this is to speak with your fiancé or husband about it. Speak with him about it. Especially if you are not yet married, you are just working towards marriage. Speak with your fiancé about it. Sit down, have a discussion. This is what I'm seeing. Don't have any preconceived notions. It is his response that will give you the answers that you are looking for. If you notice, number one, that he is not ready to handle his family, my sister, carry your legs and walk. Because you are going into a battleground already. He has shown you. Why? Why do you want to go into a war zone? They've already shown you. You will now get inside and you now start doing fire for fire. This one for... There's no point. If you can see that already this man is not going to handle his family, my sister, it may be a red flag. Walk. Another thing, if the man is the kind of person that even in courtship, he throws you under the bus, he's willing to open you up to insults and just put you in the face of the storm, my sister, walk. That is wahala coming for you. Why are you willing to marry somebody who will push you to the front line of the battle and leave you there to fight by yourself? That is a problem. Turn. Walk away. You're not yet married. Walk away. It's much easier to walk now. When you are married, you will be fighting constant battles. If you notice that he's someone who leaves you in the rain, that means he will always choose his family over you. My sister, red flag, be careful. He will always choose his family over you and leave you stranded. My sister, don't go into that thinking that you will change the situation or that you will handle them when they come. You will just be fighting constant battles. Another red flag in courtship is if you notice that this man has no respect for your family, but expects you to respect his own family, that's a problem already. You can already see it. See, I've said it many times. We, the supporters club, we are very nice. Whatever you want us to do, we will do. When you call us to wear ashwebi, we will wear it and we will come for your wedding. We will eat your jollof rice. We will dance into the reception with you. When you get into the marriage and you start having issues and fighting every day, and you tell us to pray, we will be praying. But what we will not do is come and live in your house. You will be there alone. So don't be afraid. Once you notice that this man disrespects your family, but he expects you to respect his all the time. You know that that's a potential problem. Don't go in and then start crying to us. All we will do is cry with you. Another one is if you notice that his family is constantly interfering in your business, it's a problem. And as I'm saying this, it also goes the other way. But I'm talking to a woman who doesn't want to fight wars, and I expect that she has her own side of things handled. And I'm saying these are potential red flags that can put you in a war zone, and you should avoid them before you even get married. You notice that his family is always interfering, that he cannot take a decision without asking mommy, without asking daddy, without asking his brother, without consulting. That's a problem. You speak with him about it before the wedding. Speak, discuss it. If you notice that his answer is not satisfactory or he's not willing to make any amends, you may be setting yourself up for in-law wars when you get married. Have a rethink. Also, if the situation calls for the fact that you may be living in a family setting, I'm not going to tell you to take a walk, but you have to be very, very cautious. You have to be careful. Just know that there are things that accompany it. If you can avoid living in a family setting, avoid it. If you can't avoid it, just know that several things are going to come up. And the man you are getting married to has to be strong enough to handle his family. If you see any signs that he's not going to do so, my sister, have a rethink. It's either you guys don't live amongst family or you rethink the whole situation, because it's a potential disaster or war zone. Now, my second point is this: don't go into a family with the mindset to disrupt the family dynamics. Some of us get married into very close-knit families, and you already see that this man is close to his siblings, is close to his family, but you are like, it's me and my husband though, and your game plan is that when we get married, I will shield him away from his family. It can't work. You are tearing at something that is the very core of that man, and the family will fight back against it. And you know the thing, he won't be happy. If you know that you cannot fit in, you're not the kind of person that wants to fit into that kind of family dynamic, wait and choose somebody else. Don't go into it. Don't go in with the mindset that I'm going to upset the way things work around here. No. Especially when it's a close-knit family. You'll be taking away something that makes that man who he is, and you'll be pitching him against his family, which is definitely a recipe for disaster. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is the fact that even in difficult situations, sometimes we find ourselves in those difficult situations. Nothing really seemed amiss before the wedding. Maybe because you find out that you don't really have to interact with them. But once you get married and you are now in the same family, you find out that you interact quite a bit more, and then you start to find out that there are difficulties. Sometimes maybe your mother-in-law has to come and stay, and your sister-in-law has to come and stay, or your husband's siblings have to come and stay, and you find out that there are difficulties arising from that, or it's creating difficulties of any sort. Here's one thing you have to understand: there is wisdom for every situation. There is always wisdom to handle a conflict situation. Always, that will douse the tension. There's always a wise way to handle every conflict situation that will douse the tension. Have you ever heard of the 18th camel principle? I'll tell you a story. A man once died, and his property was 17 camels. For some odd reason, he decided to give one son half of his property. He gave the other one 1/3, and he gave the last one 1/9. So he said one son should take half of his camels, one son should take 1/3 of his camels, and one son should take 1/9 of his camels. And once the children read the will, trouble began, because half of 17 is 8.5, and that one says, I'm supposed to take 9. No, I'm supposed to take this. It became an argument. 1/3 of 17 camels is 5 2/3. How do I get my 2/3? And it became a large argument, and everyone was arguing up and down. How do we do this? How do we do that? And it became a source of strife, a big source of conflict. And around the time they were arguing, a wise man happened to be passing through that city. And he stumbled upon these 3 brothers arguing and fighting. And he asked them, what is the source of this conflict? And they said, well, this is what our father left us, and this is the problem. He was also riding his camel out of town. He didn't say a word. He got down from his camel. He added it to their camels, and the camels became 18. And once the camels became 18, half became 9. He gave the one that was supposed to get half, gave him 9. The one that was supposed to get 1/3 got 6. He gave him his 6. And the one who was supposed to get 1/9, he gave his 2. So 9 plus 6 plus 2 is 17. And then he took his own 1 camel and he rode away. Conflict resolved. QED. Everyone was happy. That is how to resolve conflicts. There is always a wise way. If you look a little deeper, you will find out that there is a wise way to handle whatever it is, whatever difficult situation you find yourself in. One thing you have to understand is that as a daughter-in-law, you need to make adjustments for your mother-in-law. That woman is old. Even if she's not very old, she's much older than you and your husband because she gave birth to your husband. So she's much older than you both. She's set in her ways, or at least she's more set in her ways than you. She's not going to change for you, most likely. If she's staying in your house for a while, it's just for a while. Humor her. Lean over backwards for her. Honestly, sometimes it can feel like you're being a fool, but the truth is, eventually, it always turns out well. I haven't seen one situation where it didn't turn out well, especially if your husband is a good man who is willing to listen to you. But even where he is not, even where he's being difficult to and siding with his family, there's a wise way to handle things. Look for it. Look for that 18th camel. Sometimes you may not be able to see it because you are too emotionally invested in the situation. So you may need to pull yourself out and look at it dispassionately as if it were not you, or have somebody that you can talk to and get that perspective. There's always a way to look at things. There's always a wisdom that is outside the situation that you can infuse, and it will resolve things amicably. You need to understand that conflict does not always have to lead to combat. Conflict is an inevitable part of life. As long as we are two separate individuals, there will be conflict because we think differently. Even between Siamese twins who are conjoined, there is conflict. Somebody may say, I want to go this way. Somebody else wants to go that way. They have to find a way to agree on what works for both of them. There has to be compromise. Conflict will arise because we come from different backgrounds, we think differently, we have different opinions. The conflict is not the problem. The resolution of the conflict is. It is how you handle the conflict that is the problem. And you must always tell yourself that conflict does not always have to lead to combat. It doesn't have to end in a battle. And so you need to find the least combative way of handling the conflict. Find it. It's there. Find the least combative way. Many times the first thing that pops into your head, that thing that comes to you on impulse, isn't the right thing to do because it's an emotional response. Sit down. Take a deep breath. Take time to think about it. Think of all the options and then choose the least combative way. It's not every time you have to speak your truth. It's not every time you have to say your mind. It's not every time you have to say your piece. Think about it. I don't want combat. And even if there will be any form of confrontation, find the least combative way of dealing with the matter. I hope that helped you. What lessons did you learn? Share with me in the comments below. Don't forget to take a moment to like this video, to turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos, to share it with somebody who needs to hear it, and definitely subscribe to my channel. There's a vibrant community of women where we learn lessons like this on a regular basis. We ask questions and we carry out other fun activities that can help us improve and thrive as women. Would you like to join that community? The link is in the description box below. Till I come your way again. Ciao!